5:03 p.m. Can you fix my shirt when you get home? Yes. Thanks. If you've interacted with teenagers recently, you will understand that when I say I got a mom win, that means a lot. Let me tell you how this went down. Hi, I'm Sarah from SewingMastery.com, and normally I do sewing machine video tutorials for YouTube, and I also do in-person classes here at our store in South Dakota. But recently, this text message and the project that I'm about to tell you about really made me think about what I teach and how important it is to have some basic skills, but I also have a few confessions to make along the way. So first off, this is what the project was. As you saw by the timestamp, the text message that came to me was after 5 o'clock. I was still at work, so heading home, planning dinner, and a relaxing evening. How hard could fixing a t-shirt actually be? When I got home, this is what I was presented. Mom, the school t-shirt that I received is a size large. Can you cut it down to match this shirt that fits me perfectly? So here's a little fun fact that I've realized that my teenage daughter has figured out. A lot of t-shirts are kind of big and bulky, and a lot of times girl shirts are kind of frilly, and maybe the sayings and topics aren't really what she wants to wear. So she went to Target and asked to go to the boys section, and we ended up trying on a boys youth size 8, and it fits her perfectly. Like, it's long enough. Yes, they do like to wear them a little shorter, but it fits her perfectly in the shoulders. The sleeves are a little shorter, and honestly, the graphic tees are a little bit more fun in the boys section than the girls section. So keep this in mind if you don't have a foo-foo girl and she just wants good fitting t-shirts, that it's okay to go shop in the boys section. So now she knows what size she fits. So that is the size that you are seeing. And the shirt that she acquired was an adult size large. So I'm fixing dinner, thinking through how I'm going to handle this situation, and realizing, yes, I must confess, that I do not have a serger at home for this evening. I only have a sewing machine. The last thing that I'm hoping to find is that I have a twin needle in my possession down with my needle collection. Good news, I did. So I was able to start to think through the process of how I was going to tackle this project. So before I show you what I did and how I got it to turn out absolutely perfect and the biggest smile from my daughter, I'm going to reference a class that I have taught anywhere from 6 to 12 times a year for the last 30 years. So at our store, we do a Soy Machine Mastery class number 1, 2, and 3. Each class is 3 hours long. The first class being like all the basics that you need to know, and we work with a lot of buttons and just understand the machine, needles, threads, cleaning the machine, kind of the foundation. In class 2, which I had just finished teaching 2 days prior to this project, was a class that is a practical sewing class. Now, I always build this as it's all the stitches between stitch number 2 and 10 that you never use. So those are often like overlock stitches, mending stitches, buttonholes, all the practical things that we don't use often enough. But I keep teaching it because every time I teach it, people at the end of class always tell me how much they learned. And they always say that they don't always use those stitches, but now they know that they could. And those stitches are usually part of their manual, and they just kind of ignore them, but now that they've done them hands-on, they feel 10 times more confident with their machine. So I've always included this class. Now, tell you the truth, after teaching it for so many years, this is a hard class for me to teach because it's not the fun, creative part of sewing. It's kind of boring, but yet it's so useful in so many times, including tonight's t-shirt deconstruction that we're about to jump into. First thing I realize is that I can use the neckline exactly the way it is. She's happy with that size. That's no problem. As you can see by the sleeves though, they are super large. So I went ahead and started to just cut off the sleeves, knowing that I can position my new sleeve pattern that I'm going to create right on the previous sleeve. So I don't even have to re-hem them once they're cut out. As you can see, they're plenty big enough, giving me plenty of fabric to work with. Now the bottom, we're just going to chop that all the way off, and we will need to re-hem that. So I left myself a little leeway just to make sure I didn't get it too short once I turn up the final hem. I just use pins to transfer the shape of the sleeve from the small t-shirt onto the larger t-shirt, and then leave myself anywhere from a 1/2 to 5/8 inch seam allowance. Once I got this all cut, I had to pick from the Soy Machine what stitch could simulate a serger, because if I had a serger, this project would have already been done. But we are working with just a Soy Machine. I picked an overlock stitch that would both simulate the overlock and a seam all at once, plus have the give that we need. And off I went, sewing the sleeves into the t-shirt arm area, and then sewing 2 side seams. I had my daughter at this point try it on, and just to make sure that everything was fitting along the sides, and she was ecstatic. She helped me get my iron plugged in so I could do that final press and put in my twin needle to simulate that cover stitch that you find on the bottom of t-shirts these days. As long as nobody flips over and looks on the inside, it will look just like it was purchased. I had her try it on one more time, but as you know, getting permission from a teenager to take their picture is a total no-go. So I took the smile as a total win, and her and the entire school the next day wore their shirts for the big homecoming assembly. She was playing in the pep band, so I also made sure that as a flute player, it didn't come up too far when she raised her hands up. I feel she had the best fitting t-shirt in the entire school. Today is also October 9th, which I always fall for those made-up holidays, which today is National Kate Day. So to all the Kates, Katies, Caitlin's, and Catherines out there, cheers to you. If you're looking to master some of the wonderful stitches that I just explained, our Soy Machine Mastery website has tons of sewing machines that we have filmed, and go back through some of those overlock stitches, mending stitches, all the ones that you probably skipped over when you first bought your machine, and go back and see how much you can learn. We also have online courses should you own an embroidery machine or just want to use the decorative stitches and accessory feet that came with your machine or are available to your machine in our Stitching Cosmos online course. All of our courses have 2 things. Number 1, when you purchase them, you own them for life. And number 2, there are free videos that you can preview to see if that course is right for you. So make sure you jump in, scroll down to where the curriculum starts, click on preview, and start watching one of our courses today. Someone did snap a quick picture later that evening of Kate wearing that shirt. Even though it doesn't show how perfect it is, at least I have a picture after that successful night of recreating an entire t-shirt from scratch. If any of our videos have been helpful for you, we always say make sure you click like and then also hit subscribe so you can keep up with all the videos that we produce. Happy sewing!